Good morning, everyone. Welcome to MaryAnne's Mystic Mentions. I'm MaryAnne. Thank you for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate you, and I feel great being here with you. And today is February 23rd, 2020. I have a couple, at least, probably three now, actually, good friends, long time, that have birthdays today. Happy birthday, Pisces. It's Pisces season, and that's very watery, and it's very loving, and it's very compatible, and, you know, it's just really caring. It's a very caring, heart-centered energy. So I love that right off the bat. And then also today, as I go around the zodiac wheel, these are mid-month readings. For those that are new, welcome especially. I appreciate you so much. Certainly the ones returning. Without you, I wouldn't have the channel. There wouldn't really be any reason to do it. So I appreciate it so much. And today's featured sign is that of Capricorn. It's interesting. I was thinking, Capricorn, I could swear I just read for you, Capricorn. What is going on? We're in the last week of February, and a lot of things are going on, and there's been some delays with the Mercury retrograde. You can see I'm still delaying my speech, but it's coming along. The dust is definitely settling and clearing, and that'll continue to happen throughout the weeks ahead. And I think it's very refreshing in a lot of ways. So we're on the sign of Capricorn as the featured. The highlight I'll do right in front of you. But I did some homework. I looked and saw that the last connections you had with your highlight, Capricorn, were Capricorn and Leo. And then Leo had you as a highlight, like right beginning and then middle. They're very prominent energies. And I'm hoping that that made sense for those that watched it. And then before that, it was Taurus, so there was an Earth, okay, another Earth with you, and that made sense because of a lot of the astrological major planetary actions that are happening, and will be for a while in Taurus. But so what happens with of course, the highlighted connection is I read three major categories for you, specifically, and so let's pick it right now before I get carried away and get sidetracked. And so what do we have? Spirit, please guide us today in the best possible way with clarity and the deepest of intentions. Whoops, that went right off the table. Capricorn and Taurus. I'll be darned. See, that was a while back. Isn't that interesting? I just said that. It's a really beautiful, harmonizing energy, and it works so well. You're both earth signs. Always the same elements tend to really get each other because they're coming from the same place. You know, they have that fundamental similarity type of characteristics that they both can see and feel within each other, and it's a very synchronizing kind of wonderful energy. And I find that a lot of partnerships, and whatever this love connection is, because it has so many different meanings to so many different people, I'm always seeing, and after years of studying and doing these things and the combinations of compatibility, that yeah, the earth signs together are really, really, I mean, you talk about strength and power and grounded energy, boy. That's what Capricorn is. Capricorn is, well, let me just, before I finish, I'll read the three major categories for these two beautiful highlighted connections of Capricorn and Taurus. And then if that's not the one you wanted specifically, Capricorn, stay tuned, because I have the three beautiful oracle divinations that I read, and they are entitled to bring messages for every Capricorn, but every single one of your connections, not necessarily the Leo, okay? Anybody, something in here has a message for you if you want to listen and you want to take it in. You always have free will, right? Sometimes you feel it and you hear it right away, and sometimes it takes a day or so to kind of hit. And I always recommend to go back to the beginning of the month reading to see if it's similar in a way, you know, even though it's a different highlighted sign, just see where the pattern's going, because all of the readings this far, and I'm not exaggerating, have been pretty phenomenal, amazingly positive, and that's where we're heading. And I felt that, and I know it's slower than we want, but it's coming, boy. And interestingly enough, Capricorn, last year was your year as far as predominance of planets in your sign, and that's going to end the major 800-year cycle of earth elements being predominant, and now it's air. So you can work with it, you're fine with that. It's just, it's a whole different feel for you and for a lot of people. But last year you had Jupiter in your sign. Now, I know personally friends and associates and clients that had, you know, the same aspects. They have the Jupiter in their sign, they had Saturn, they had a bunch of them. Bunch of planets for a while, outer and inner planets. And I've met and talked to people that say, oh my gosh, it was such a bad year. Well, I know for the reasons that we all kind of shared. And then there were divorces, and there were, you know, separations of friendships and job losses. And they thought, that's Jupiter? But trust me when I tell you, yes, it is Jupiter. Not in the way we imagine, you know, because Jupiter is benevolent. It's luck. It's prosperity. It's expansion of anything we want and we touch, right? And last year it was in the planetary aspect of Capricorn and Pluto, which meant it was about, you know, illness and disease, and then Jupiter touching it expands it. It's all perfectly explained in the guidelines of our incredible map of the universe and the stars, and it's just pretty phenomenal, you know. And that's a general reading for everybody, but then it gets so much more personal when you get your personalized readings. And these two are general readings, but I am getting to a point here. So the people that had losses, honestly, and I know because I've been through it, I lost my brother in my year of Jupiter, which only happens every 12 years in our life, so it doesn't happen many times. The beginning of the year, it'll be tomorrow, will be the 4-year anniversary. It was the worst possible, whew, talk about knock me over with a feather, right? And it was during eclipse, although our eclipses won't come till May. We'll start to feel them in the next month or so, but changes are meant to happen. They are meant to make us grow. They're meant to transform our lives in ways we don't plan, to open up the new, you know, and that's exactly what's happening. So then later on, although the loss of my brother still will never completely be understood, you know, in the way that it happened and such, but I hang in there because there's a lot of love for him. And I speak to him every day, and I'm speaking to him now by, you know, speaking to you about it. So yes, don't think that the losses and the sadness that comes with some of the transformations and the Jupiterian, you know, aspects to our life is all for naught, okay? So I had to say that. So, but a lot of you had a lot of really great things happening. And even though there may have been a slowdown, it's understandable. Capricorn, you are an earth element that is very, very down to earth. You're very practical. You are very reliable. You are steadfast. Oh my gosh. You are a cardinal earth sign though. So that's the difference between you and like Taurus, who's fixed, or Virgo, who's immutable. You represent the beginning of the season of winter. So you also are ruled by Saturn. So between the restriction of Saturn and the taskmaster and the focus, the razor sharp focus on your purpose and your desire, the combined with the cardinal aspect of initiating things and pioneering and making things happen, wanting to do stuff. You always want to be doing stuff. You are incredibly hard workers. In the zodiac, the earth signs tend to be some of the most hard. All signs have the ability to be so. And it borderlines workaholicism, you know, but there's this drive in you that's unmistakable. And I find it extremely admirable. And then you're the person that we can always go to because you are so sensible and you work well alone. You do have usually businesses and a lot of people working with you or for you, I should say. You have this spirit of the goat where you have that, no mountain's going to be too high for you to climb, okay? You're going to make it happen. And all you ever question is how. It's not if, it's when. And it's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity. Those are the types of thoughts that you think. And you're serious. You're very, very serious a lot of times. Your kind of energy can be that of, you know, the Saturn aspect, and it's kind of stern at times. But when you know a Capricorn, you realize they're just like anybody else. They love love. It means a great deal to you. You will work hard to achieve a good relationship, you know, whatever it is. And yeah, it's just mainly finding that balance, isn't it, in all of our lives between work and relationships, because that has to happen when you really want one. And then there's other relationships, of course, there's many where they both work so much that they just get it. You know, maybe they work together for that reason. They have that partnership in the romance, in the ability to just know that this is what we do, this is how we thrive, this is what keeps us going, this is what makes this a beautiful home and family, able to be secure and, you know, steadfast. They want to touch and feel the things that are tangible. Capricorn to me are the signs that it's like they believe it when they see it versus the I'll see it and then believe it, you know? Did I say that right? I might have been just the opposite. They need to see it before they believe it. That's right. As opposed to I'll believe it, I'll see it when I believe it. That's the difference. Hope I'm not confusing you too much. I'm starting to get confused. You get the idea though, I hope. Great people, you know, friends for life. You don't want to mess, and you don't want to be disloyal to them though, because that is something they're not necessarily going to get over quickly, but then who does? So then we have this beautiful compatibility with Taurus. Pretty much everything I just said. Taurus is the fixed sign though. So Taurus, as with earth signs, they don't want to change that readily or quickly. They kind of have to really look everything over and kind of think, I don't know, you know, and that's okay. You know, the hare is, what is it? The tortoise and the hare? The tortoise is the one that wins. The slower, more precise and, you know, the one who looks at all the details a lot of times and takes their times and has that patience, that's the one that's going to win in the end, right? And not that fire signs and other signs that have that ability to be very impulsive and quick and, you know, just straightforward, they win too, trust me. But sometimes they have to redo it, that's all. And that's not something that, well, of course it can happen with Earth. You know, I don't want to be stuck on anything I say and people say, you said so-and-so. Not that that's happened, but, you know, I just want to be as fair about it as possible. There's always going to be a little bit of everybody in all of us when it comes to astrology. But these are the main focal points and personality traits for the Earth. So along with the fixed aspect, which means that Tauruses are pretty set in their opinions, their ideals, their beliefs. And so they want to be steadfast in that, and they feel like if it hasn't broken, why fix it? You know, they're not willing to do that change I mentioned. But this is what's interesting. We're in an era now, I mean an air, they call it an era because it's going to be predominance of air for the next 400 plus years. And it's going to be about the mind. It's masculine energy. It's about thinking and expanding and growing and changing and seeing differently, seeing how different perspectives on how things can be done that were normally done in a specific way. We're all seeing that in the world right now, are we not? I mean, things are just being broken down and changed and just like, it has to happen. I mean, it's happening, it seems quicker than I would imagine, but it's not quick at all. Things that needed to be happening perhaps should have happened quite a few years ago, but they are now, and that's what matters. So the two of you work well, you work hard, you're devoted to each other, and you have the ruling planet of Venus for Taurus. And Taurus and Venus is about the beautiful things, the feminine, you know, the things that we like to see, taste, smell, aesthetically feel comfortable, luxury. Taurus is known as the sign of money. They understand the need to reap what they sow and to toil hard, you know, plant those seeds, watch them and wait for them to grow and just continue to move forward in the direction they want no matter how long it takes. It's not an object to them. It's not an opposition to them. So that's all I'm trying to say, I guess, is that in most situations, and obviously there's always going to be nature versus nurture with relationships and listening to each other and your love language, because we're different people. We come from different situations and families and sometimes cultures and heritages and things, and it's all about just really kind of thinking, like, who really knows how this love thing, like, how can we explain it except that it's the most powerful emotion we can have, and it does incredible things. It's miraculous energy, and it heals and it reforms and it changes and it transforms, and it's phenomenal. I highly recommend you involve yourself in some way, and especially yourself. Please love yourself, okay? And know that that's not a selfish thing. So let's read your three major categories, though, because it already feels good. It feels like there's a real common ground going here, and that you are raring to go, really. You've got the thoughts that are coming through pretty fast and furious, and they're kind of blowing your mind because you're thinking, wow, that would be cool. And when it's Aquarius, it's ruled by Uranus, which, you know, is, like I said, the predominance of this month and moving forward, along with Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius the whole year, pretty much, I believe, except for a time when it changes in May through July and goes into Pisces as a little preview of next year. But that's very complimentary for you too, Earth signs. The water signs, once again, are very, very good. You work really well together with water. And we have Cancer moon right now. So if you're feeling a little more emotional and lovey, go with it. Because the mind sometimes can just go amok, right? Can run amok, and we can just think and think and think, and it's tired, we lose sleep, and we just need to turn that off and purposely focus on your heart chakra. And the people you love and the circumstances that make you happy and your creative endeavors that, you know, matter more than being too concerned or too worried about things we may not have answers to just yet. That new moon added a lot of new aspects to things too, that for everybody, and certainly for you, the two of you. And also the full moon in Virgo. It's going to be amazing because you've got Uranus and Taurus, you know, and you got the Virgo coming through. It's super complementary, they call it a trine. It's a complementary angle. A lot of beautiful things can come through for that full moon. It's about repairing and mending and healing. I know we still are doing that, right? So your first card is always the overall energy. That basically brought you to this reading and how you're doing to this point. And what do you have? I love this deck. It's the Queen of Tarot decks. It's about our feminine aspect of ourselves and that power and passion we have, and more nurturing side, like Cancer, you know. King of Swords. Well, there you go. There we go. There's that Aquarius. Still very prevalent, very, very strong, very mind-oriented, like I said. All about information, all about connection and networking, which is essential for improving and going in directions you want to do and to be seen and to be heard, right? And information coming through that's going to help resolve some of the slow-laid, you know, plans that were meant to happen but didn't and are still being worked out because of the retrograde that happened in Aquarius, which is the air again. And just things just weren't making sense, right? And that's all starting to get cleared up. So that's perfect. You're in the energy of what's happening. And it can be very, very positive now, especially with things moving forward. So trust in that. Trust in the information. Know when to decipher what you believe with your gut, you know, and that emotional part of all of us. The intuitive aspect, which is the Queen's, once again. It's just, yeah, just truly knowing that and then saying, okay, it's time. And I feel really good about what information will and has come through, actually, because I'm hearing beautiful things that's working in our favor in government ways and such. But it's still pending, right? The second is the possible blessings or obstacles. You have the Eight of Wands. Oh, baby. It's fast information. This information is coming in fast. You may think it's going to take long because we've waited as long as we have. Don't be surprised, okay, when you get it really quickly, because the Wands aren't about waiting. And as I said earlier, they're the fire, they're the Leo, the Aries, and the Sagittarians. They are just like, let's make it happen. We are the spirit of the zodiac. We are the motivation, and we use our physical being, and we use our passion, which is huge for all of us, right? In anything we do. When you add that, couple what you want with passion, then you have a manifestation that's worth expressing and seeing and working with. So 8 is a manifestation number in numerology, and 8 is the power number, and 8 is a abundance number. So I love it. This king, and you might know somebody that exhibits these, you know, kind of energies of the Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, which is the air elements. But you may have it in your chart, so you may really be resonating, because if you have any major planet in your natal chart, which you can look up for free, you know, the sun is the sun. That's what I'm reading for. That's the first house. That's where, you know, the sun illuminates us. It's our ego and our drive and our interests and who we want to be with and what we want to wear and how we want to be seen. It's external, but there's so many other planets that affect you on a daily basis. So any ones that happen to be in air are going to be very particularly prominent this year. So I love it. You got some information you want, and you're chomping at the bit. You're going to get it. Okay, and it's going to be good. I like the 8. That's the positive aspect when it comes to the wands. So let's get to the last category, which is finances, and that means a lot to both of you. It does. It means a lot to everybody, but I think in particular the Earth signs really, they're focused on that. They're very resourceful, very good at strategy that way. They're very good at creating and amassing wealth, But it's not because they sit on their laurels, they work hard. So as I mentioned many times, your third card under that category is the Star. Wow, that's what I mean. These readings are so beautiful. They're saying, everybody, look, it was a hard time. We're still mending. We're still healing. And of course, there'll be some things coming up this year. I can't say what. But the Star and the wishes, the Star represents Aquarius. So there you have the King of Swords and the Aquarius energy, which is the Star, which is a wealth of knowledge that's being shared and poured out into the world to help us to understand, to grow, and to evolve in our thoughts and educate ourselves and listen and speak in maybe an entirely different way, maybe through social media, you know, and Zoom and all the things that we started a lot more last year for our betterment and entrepreneurial things, you know, and staying at home now and not going back into an office, creating your own, you know, powerhouse ideas out of the box. And couldn't be more perfect. The Star is 17, and it's 7 is the 8 again, 1 and 7. So there you have 2 8s. This is really absolutely beautiful. And it just makes me realize, as I said, Capricorn, that Jupiter, it doesn't stop when it's you're here and your year is over, because it went into Aquarius, I think on the 17th or 18th of December. It'll be there through December again in Aquarius. But no, what happens and what you are given an opportunity for, even if it doesn't happen in the year of, it'll affect you the next 12 years until it comes back. This is just beginning. And your dreams are going to come true if you fully, truly want it. And you know how incredibly dedicated and resourceful, all the things I mentioned, you've got this. And the two of you are just going to be so incredibly, unbelievably surprised and happy at some of the outcomes after a year that seemed a little bit more dismal, for lack of a better word. That's behind us, right? I like thinking of this moment now. There's so much more power in this moment, and then forward. And so, yeah, I don't know what to say except that I love this, and I pray you're feeling that way this very moment. Or at least when you have that time, if you have that downtime and you sit, what are you feeling? Because it's one thing to be thinking. What are you feeling? What is your gut telling you? Because that never lies. Certainly not your heart. So that's beautiful. And I always finish with these oracle divinations. Like I said, I have 3, and I switch these all around. I'll bring out a brand new deck next month. But I do want to put this out there, and I'll say it through the end of the week. Because after I finish with Pisces, I'll do a couple of bonus readings. And then I have a surgery next week. So I can't wait to get back to doing this. It's a hip surgery. So at first, probably for a week, it'll be hard to get into this chair, I would imagine. But I'm hoping between now and then I will be able to figure out the editing and just get over it and then start it. What a novel idea, right? I just haven't been able to figure it out. I know, it's crazy with everything else. But I'm not opposed to learning, so just putting it out there. So if you don't see me, it's only because I'm just in the healing mode. And I'm extremely excited to get back and be able to do this, because for the most part I can do a lot of things. I just have that healing time, right? So let's see. The wisdom of the oracle is the first oracle, and it is about just that, just the wisdom that the universe can bring to us and share and help us to better ourselves. Always, 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 you know? And just, I love listening to so many different other readers and people and friends, and then kind of just deciding, okay, that feels good, that feels right, or not so much. So for all the beautiful Capricorns that are having a really good reading thus far, and for all of your other connections outside of the Taurus I mentioned, you have the card Blessed. So it seemed pretty apparent. It seemed like really, really beautiful things are coming through. And I love that. I love being the messenger for these messages, more than you probably know. But it is number 22, which is a master number. And it becomes a 4, which is about stability and security, and foundations are good, and you know, relationships are feeling good and solid, and that's what grounding, beautiful earth element energy is. And it's the long term. It's not just, you know, here for a day. It's like, let's make it work for a lifetime. How's that? Let me read to you again what it says, though, out of the book. This is by MaryAnne, this beautiful deck. And she's an inspiration herself. And I don't know her personally, of course. I just admire who she is and what she stands for. Oops, I opened to 23, so let's do 22. The essential meaning is something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected. Grace that is unforeseen gift. Grace that is an unforeseen gift from Spirit. Wow, that star, the information coming through. And it's really about something being said to you, and it's going to probably just kind of rock your world in a beautiful way. The oracle message, there are moments in life when out of the blue, like the wands that come out of the blue and start firing right at you, it seems that everything has been orchestrated by a divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express. It is as if the Red Sea parts in front of you and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. There's that natural key for you, right? You love nature, you love outdoor, you love the ground and gardening and good food and that comes from your garden. You know deep down you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. Now, I don't know, I read this before. I think you do deserve all of it, but you know, I mean, we have days when we think, wow, I didn't expect that. Me? Who, me? You're humble. You are a humble kind of background kind of person, though, too, Capricorn. So I could see that as well. Let awe and gratitude for all your blessings guide you now. Okay, and I'm going to read the relationship message. It's right underneath. You are moving towards a deepening of intimacy in a unique and sacred partnership. You know you are meant to make this connection. This union, blessed by the divine, will bring transformation and beauty to the world. Ooh, that's the star. That's an all, inclusive kind of energy with Aquarius. They want to work in ways that help everybody and be fair and just and see the world in a more equal playing ground, right? It's going to take time, but it absolutely can happen. So you're in that mode as well. This is also a sign that even more important, you're being called to a deeper intimacy with yourself and spirit. With this new development, you will see evidence of grace in your life. So I'm all ears. If you ever want to share, and if you're not a subscriber, do me a huge favor and push the subscribe and like. You probably hear it with every station, but that's because, every channel, because that's what YouTube wants for us to excel and to grow, and in order to, to help us, basically. They want to know people like what they're watching, and they'll be willing to help more, right? That makes sense. And so it's a small, gesture and a prayer, but it shows me a whole lot of love. And it's just really cool. And you can comment, and I will always return the comment, because I want to know if this is really what's happening in any form for you. That's really important to me, because a lot of times I hear it does. Not everybody, of course, but, at some point, in some way, beginning of the month, middle, or even a bonus if you come up, it would show you something that you need to know, and something that can really spark your interest. And the second oracle I love is this motivation manifesto. It's pretty simple. It's just that. It kind of just the words and the sentences. Sometimes they're short. Sometimes it's a phrase. There's something to really help motivate us. And I'm all about that. I hope you are too. That's why I choose this, and I have others, but I really like this. And it's still relatively new. I have many I haven't read yet. So for all the Capricorns, you hardworking, loving, beautiful, deeply devoted Capricorns in your relationships, it says, with love's transcendent power, we can be reborn and redirected. When we open to love, life itself can feel newer, more alive, more magical, and meaningful. And may I just say, these are not all related to love. This is your love connection reading, and it's perfectly serendipitous, and it makes excellent sense with this reading for you and your blessings. And, this is what we're here for. We're here to learn and to go through challenges, but we're also here to receive our blessings. That's a part of it all. Isn't that great? Oh boy. I wouldn't mind being a Capricorn now. But I'll tell you what, like I said, all the readings have really just made me just smile. With genuine, happiness and joy for you, everybody. And we do deserve it. So the final card is the Super Attractor Manifestation. That wanted to come right out. Aw, it just keeps going. this is allowing us to feel into reality the life we want. You know, we have to have that in the law of attraction. It is about like attracting like. If you're feeling sad, you're not going to bring in happiness. If you're feeling happy, you will bring that in. You put that out, it comes an inside job, it goes out, and the ripples come back. It's just the way it works. And you can try it in small ways, but let's go big. Your card is, when I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. So there's something very, very deeply involved with your love connection. And like I said, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be your work, and it wouldn't surprise me, but you are feeling so in tune right now, and so, I would say, grateful. Just, you know, that loving, beautiful Cancer moon isn't hurting anything. And congratulations, I love that. And if for any reason at all, you're like, what are you talking about? I just tune into this energy. Allow it to happen. You are a manifester. You are constantly manifesting with the universe. And there's co-creation. And trust me, I am waiting on some things myself from this retrograde. Still haven't come through, but now I'm actually literally saying, that's over there. And it will happen, so, in divine timing. But I hope you enjoyed this. I really do. Always do. Let me know. You know, let me know your thoughts and whatnot. And take great care of yourself. Enjoy this time. It's a very, very pertinent and especially powerful time for all of us in a positive way. So thank you, and until next time, bye for now.